Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast, Road to Valencia series. How many weeks are we to go? I've forgotten already.
7.
7 weeks to go. How is everybody doing? 7 weeks to go.
Good.
Well, I did think we had 1 week less, so I don't know if I'm happy or sad about that, to be honest. I was counting down the weeks thinking it was 6 to go.
I'm grateful to have an extra week.
Would you like 10 weeks? We just got confused by a social media post saying there was 10 weeks, so...
I'll take 10 weeks.
20
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah. 59 weeks, just do it next year.
Exactly.
I think it's 47 days. That's what I saw on someone's Strava.
Don't count in days. That makes it sound even closer than it is.
I'm ready for the marathon block to end, so I'm happy. 47 days sounds good.
I'm counting in long runs. I think there's maybe 4.
That sounds
left.
Yeah.
For me, because I'll have a down week, so
yeah. I'm gonna skip my down week, but I'll get to that later. Nice to be back. Apologies for missing last week. I did hope to come, but we were away on holiday, had bad internet, and a little bit of illness as well, which I'll get to when I recap my 2 weeks. But I heard that Jen Long, I can see there on her, she's put on.
I've made it very obvious.
If you're watching the video, and Owain covered very well and didn't get us cancelled. That's great. I actually need to go back and listen to it because I feel like I'm out of the loop. I don't know what your week's been like.
Can't believe you didn't listen.
I'm actually a bit, upset about that.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't take it personally. I've never listened back to any of our episodes because I couldn't face doing that. That'd be awful, wouldn't it? But if I'm not on it, I guess I could go and do that. But before we get to our week, should we talk about Soar?
Yes, we should. Soar has a pop up. I'm using the right lingo there. Soar's got a pop up in New York. So if anyone's running the New York Marathon or just lives in New York, it's Soar, Cadence, and Rafa, which I think might be that's three pretty
cool
good
trio, isn't it?
You have to be a cool person to go to this, I think.
That's all of us out then, guys. So
I own some Rafa clothing, so I think I could make it.
Oh, you own some Rafa clothing
from Vinted. From Vinted,
right? I like that. Yeah.
Across the New York weekend, which is next weekend, so the 31st to the 3rd of November. They got a drop run, which I've heard of drop rides as in cycling, where if you don't keep up with the pace, you get dropped. So it's a progressive run. So it starts at 5:30 a k, and every 2k it speeds up down to 3:50 a k. That's on the Friday the 31st, on Halloween. That's at 6 a.m. as well.
So how hard you go? But 2 days before your marathon.
Yeah, you probably want to drop out partway through if you're doing the marathon. You actually get dropped for this one.
Win the fun run.
Yeah.
Run.
There's coffee and pastries as well afterwards, and then a retail store. And then on Saturday, there's a more retail at the Soar pop-up. And then on Sunday and Monday, pop-up open, and I think they're doing some more sort of chill, easy runs. There'll be a link on our socials. There's a link on Soar's website. That looks pretty cool. If I was in New York, I'd go to some of that at least.
Yeah, the pastries at the end of the run is appealing enough.
Yeah, next year.
Maybe that's Road to New York next year.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? See if we get an invite.
It's even more expensive than Valencia.
Do you think we get
I think it's making Valencia look cheap from what I've heard.
Yeah, go check that out. I think there's also a Soar times New York capsule, so there should be some new clothing with that as well. Which should be pretty cool. All of the brands do New York stuff, and it all looks really cool. So check that out, and then also check out our giveaway as well. The link, as always, is in the bio. That gets you 250 quid if you win with Soar. I think worth it. We've all got some Soar clothing, haven't we? So we'll maybe come on. Yeah, you can do a jacket review, Dan.
I will. When we get there, I'll do it. It was. Yeah, I nearly felt embarrassed to run it on our Sunday long run together, completely decked out.
Well, we were all completely decked out in Soar, weren't we?
I know.
It was the
We look
same the
good,
week
though. We look
before.
good.
So
Good to see. Withstood all the conditions.
yeah, I think we
So
did.
should we get some training?
Yeah.
Do it. Shall I kick us off?
Yeah. So October the 13th.
Yeah. October
Because
the
we
3rd.
always forget that as well.
Yeah. When was it? It feels so long ago. It all blurs into one. Started the week off with an easy 10-mile run, coming off the back of the long run we did with the Big Ponty group, which was 45 easy into 80 minutes at 5:55s. And as per normal for me, I always feel really good on the Monday morning. So it's usually like my fastest easy run of the week, which like seems to be like backwards. But 7:22s went up to Rope and around Heath, tried to get a little bit of elevation in, as much as you can do from the centre of Cardiff. So I did that in the morning, and then in the afternoon, got a little text message from Owain, fancy a run. Dave and I were looking at each other like, do we have to go out? We got the text, we're like, class, that's brilliant. So we went and met you, and we did the classic evening double loop. Just missed it getting dark, which is good because we don't own head torches, unlike you, Owen.
I think you need one with all these doubles.
Yeah, but that was just an easy 10k, 5-minute Ks, I think, which is the maximum of my slowestness. But I felt awful in the evening, which is very standard for me. Like we were saying last week, like I get like the pattern eventually, but that was true to form. And then I've moved away from doing Tuesday, Friday sessions now. So Tuesday has now become an easy day, with kind of Sunday and Wednesday being my biggest days of the week. So Tuesday started with another 10-mile easy run, 7:30 pace. Went down the bay this morning, and it was like, I want to say it was quite nice weather. I think it was quite nice weather. There's no, moaning and groaning on my Strava, so I think it was pretty decent. Had to go out pretty early, 8:08 a.m, because I decided I was going to meet up with the girls in the park for a coffee, so I had to get back from my social event, but survived. Oh, I finished that run off with some strides as well. I did 4 by 13 seconds, and I wrote on my Strava, fast twitch gone. Honestly, I felt like a donkey running these, like, don't know, just didn't feel very fast at all, but I guess that's kind of part of the marathon training as well.
I mean, 2:45 a k pace, so you weren't exactly jogging, were you?
No, but do you know when it just doesn't feel very smooth? I was like, felt like a bit of a donkey running along, but
that's just me every stride, Jen. Every
I
sprint.
think I must have, I didn't do any plyos beforehand, so maybe that's what I was missing. But yeah, that was Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, went out for another run. I got a delivery of my Soar kit straight to the door after work from you, Owain. But I saved that for the Wednesday session, so it was just an easy 10k again in Podcanna Fields. I just went round and did like 3 laps of I call it a triangle, but it has got 4 sides, but hopefully that makes sense. So I did that.
You did 3 laps around there?
Yeah. Do you know when you just can't be asked? It was like nearly 5 o'clock. I was like, I just can't really be asked to do this. Dave basically said to me at the beginning of the week, try and run 108 miles. And like off 2 days where you're running 20, and like fitting in the rest of the miles is actually quite hard.
Why 108?
I don't know. Well, then he wants this week to go up a little bit, and then we're going to have like a complete down week next week. So I think he was trying to like pitch it in like steps that made sense. And once he gives me a number to hit, I'm hitting it. But it just makes for like massive double days. Like, to me anyway, like this is like a 10 and a 6 mile run in a day. It's just a lot.
Yeah, big days.
But yeah, that's me moaning about the easy running. Wednesday had a session. I just felt really leggy doing this, to be honest. It was 3 by 10 minutes, 4 by 5, 5 by 2, starting at LT1 and like kind of just building through to LT2, basically. So for me, that's probably anywhere from like 6-minute miling down to 5:20s, which I pretty much managed to do. I think I was running I went 5:54 for the first 10 minutes, 5:52, 5:55. Then I went 5:29, 5:31, 5:29, 5:31 for the 5-minute reps, and then 5:24, 5:24, 5:27, 5:24, 5:24 for the 2-minute reps, and it was all off a minute jog. So it ended up being just under 12 and a half miles at average pace of 5:53s.
So how is 5K runner Jen finding an hour worth of threshold with jog recoveries?
5K runner Jen cannot run anywhere near 5K pace at the end, let's be honest. The 2-minute reps at 5:24 has felt hard. And I think it's more like muscularly than it is sort of aerobically. Like my body is just tired by the end. I definitely feel like I've improved a lot doing it. Like that would have I wouldn't be able to complete that a year ago, I don't think. Or not.
But you'd often do like an hour worth of volume in a day split across 2 sessions. How would you compare that? Because I think people find that quite interesting, like the double threshold versus single threshold session.
Well, so when Dave originally wrote my plan for me, and he moved me away from doing double threshold to the single, like bigger session in a day, and then moved it from doing like a Tuesday, Friday with a Sunday long run with a bit of work in it to like just 2 hard days, I was a bit pissed off. I was like, why are you like reducing the volume of my week like this? Like, I'm never going to, like, this is going to be like so easy. It's not. It's actually really hard. I think like breaking like a 20-mile day where it's broken up into double threshold, I can bounce off that really easily. Like doesn't touch the sides. But a 20-mile day which involves a 12.5-mile session, it's a completely different story. It's just I don't know like why. Like obviously I do know why. It's like a lot of work in one hit. But I can't like quite in my head figure out why that's now so much harder than doing 2 broken up.
I think especially for someone like you who's come from that more speed background and probably has a few more fast twitch fibers than me and Owain, I'll speak for him. I think you're going to find that a bit more of a struggle, but it's also just you can't refuel in between, you can't rehydrate in between, all that sort of stuff.
I'm taking gels during the sessions because that was one thing I was really conscious of. Is like I don't want to come off the back of this and not recover as well as I can. So I'll start the process whilst I'm doing the session, but also it is a long session and I'm training for a marathon, which requires me to fuel throughout anyway. So why not practice? So I'm trying to like do all the things I can do that will help kind of get the most out of it. But it is hard. One thing I will say though is it goes really, really quickly. Like hour and 12 minutes of running is gone in like an instant when you're doing it like that, which is quite nice because you finish and you're like, oh yes, I basically finished for the day and didn't realize I'd done it. Whereas a 10-mile run that goes on for hours.
Yes, you do. I find that you do one of these sessions and you just think about the time, and then you've Garmin the warm up and the cool down separately, and you get home and you realize you've done like a ton of mileage.
Yeah.
Without necessarily realizing you've done a ton of mileage. I can be hitting 15, 16 miles in some of these single sessions.
Yeah.
Not really. Whereas if I'd gone out to do that as like a medium long run, it would have gone on forever.
Yeah. And like the pace, like because I'm going to sound like Jake Smith now, but like I am jogging the recovery, so like the average pace does come out looking like pretty decent as well, which I quite like.
That's how you get fit, I heard. That's
how I get fit.
Hammering the recoveries.
Pardon?
Hammering the recoveries.
Hammering the recoveries. But I wasn't quite hammering them, but yeah, just outside 7-minute miling, I think, which, you know, for recovering off something that felt like VO2 max by the end, I'll take that.
And just for a minute as well. It's not like you're taking 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to keep your average pace pretty high.
Yeah, pretty decent. So that was Wednesday's session. I got it done. I think I was more relieved that I just finished it and completed it and kind of did it exactly how it was written down on the plan, because I went into it feeling a bit tired still, which is a theme for the rest of my week, really. But yeah, got it done. And then I went out again in the afternoon for just an easy 4 miles. And because I sessioned the previous week on a Thursday, it meant my rolling week on that Wednesday night was 114 miles. I think that's where I just tipped the balance a little bit, because I've never got up that high ever in my life, by quite a significant amount. Well, like 6 miles, which is quite a lot. When you're like,
it's always fun playing that game, isn't it? Looking at the
Yeah.
rolling 7 days, but it's, we do always think in Monday to Sunday, or if you're weird, how do like people go Saturday to
or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It should be a week is Monday to Sunday, isn't it? But actually, your body doesn't understand that, does it?
Exactly.
And you accidentally, you think, all right, I want to hit this mileage this week, and you accidentally, like I said, you have a session that's not on a normal day and out of your normal pattern, and you've suddenly added 10, 15 miles, and your body goes, yeah, I can feel that.
Yep. And that was me on Thursday morning. I got up, I did an hour's easy run, ended up and I was tired. I went down like the bay. I had an argument with a lady and a dog. She had like one of these little chihuahua things running around my feet, and I stopped my watch and I said to her, I don't like dogs. And she was like, how can you not like dogs? Everyone likes dogs. He just wants to play. The classic like dog owner doesn't like respect any other person in the park sort of thing. And I just like shouted at her. I was like, I don't like dogs. I'm not here to play with your dog. Like, it's in my way. Like, ran around it, ran off, and I could just like put my headphones back in, but I could tell she was yelling at me as I like ran away. But I was just not in the mood to deal with that. So
my favourite are the extendable leads. They're on a lead, but the lead is like 5 meters long, like just a tripwire across the path. That's my favourite.
I remember when I was younger training with our club at home in Worcester, and that exact thing happened to a guy. We were doing like these mile reps. Guy with an extendable lead with his dog. It was dark. One of the boys in the group tripped over the lead, absolutely smashed his face on the floor, like broke his nose, like bruised his eye, like looked like he'd been like in some sort of war when he got back to like the start of the rep. So ever since then, I've been very cautious of the extendable leads. Not for me. But yeah, avoided the extendable leads, got the run done. That was an easy hour on Thursday morning, 7:30 pace. And then I forced myself to the gym. So I've reduced the gym now from 2 times a week to 1 time a week, just to like maintain what I've built up over the last few months, but also kind of just prioritize kind of recovering from the training now, while still like adding in like my accessory exercises at home with like TheraBands and stuff that I do for like my tendons and things. But yeah, Thursday morning, forced myself to the gym, did my session, got it done. Hour and 2 minutes, the standard stuff. Started with my plyos and then finished with my calves and did some very pathetic looking lifting in the middle.
Average heart rate of 109 here, it says.
I don't think that's right. I think I peaked at like 150 or something, but I don't think jumping up a box really led to that much of a high heart rate. Otherwise, I really am screwed.
That's basically running, isn't it?
Pretty much.
You'd be going at a decent pace at 109 beats per minute. I'd be doing 7-minute mile pace at that.
But yeah, so yeah, went to the gym, took a photo to prove I was there, and then walked home. And then then I thought I'd treat myself to something extra. I did a hot bath. The Timu duck is back alive, and it recorded a temperature of 42 degrees when I got in, evidenced on my Strava. And I sat in that bath for 25 minutes. I made a typo when putting it onto Strava, and I called it a hot calf. My mum is called Calf, so she commented on my Strava, thinking trying to make a joke, I think. But I thought I'd leave it as a hot calf just for this, the shits and giggles, really. So yeah, that was my hot bath, and then I went out again in the afternoon for another 6-mile run at 7:50s.
It's an unbelievably busy day.
It is quite a big day, isn't it? It's meant to be my recovery day after a big session, but I managed to squeeze a lot in that day.
That's like 1, 2. It's getting on for 2 hours 45 of like training plus a bath, isn't it? So yeah, it's like a 3-hour day basically.
Big day. But in my head, like, I'm not really counting the gym and the bath as training, but I probably should do. That's like one of my downfalls. If I'm not running, then it doesn't really count as training. but it definitely does.
It is on Strava though, so
it is on Strava, so it counts. So sometimes I think I overlook it and then perhaps don't give it quite enough like consideration in my week. But we're still kicking and screaming, so hopefully it's all right. And then I got up on Friday morning and shock, I went for another 10-mile run. I tried to make this one a little bit hillier. You're going to be quite disappointed in me here. I think it was 282 feet, so it's probably not that good. But I went out to Rada and then back along the Taff. Has anyone else noticed the bike path on the other side of Hayley Park's been resurfaced?
I run on that every day. That's my easy loop. It's good, isn't it?
It's really good. I was a bit disappointed to start with because there's not a lot of trail in Cardiff, and I used to go on there for like the trail bit.
But they've tarmacked it, have they?
Yeah. Like you could do like decent session on there if you don't mind a bit of undulation.
I fully expect to see Jake on there in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, he might not even know about it.
Yeah, if Jake's listening, there's some new tarmac for you.
Yeah,
it's good tarmac.
Good tarmac, quality. Yeah. And it's quiet along there. There's never more than like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found out about that on this run, which was exciting. And then afternoon, I went out for another run with Dave, 4 miles at 8:01 minute miling. I definitely 2-stepped in this whole run because I was probably frustrated at the pace we were running at, but I think it did me the world of good, to be honest. So that was Friday night, and then Saturday morning, just a 6-mile run. Dave and I started this run together, and I think I lasted about 3 minutes with him before I decided to pave my own way. And yeah, just left him for dust really on the trail by the castle. Yeah, the sight of me going into the distance. But yeah, that was a easy 6-mile run, and I did follow that up with some more strides because I was so disappointed with my lack of pace on Tuesday. I thought if I did a few more it might help, but it didn't. But yeah, did another 4 strides on a slightly different part of the bike path this time, hoping it would make
2:39 a k this time.
Can you really trust like a 14-15 second bit of
I would take it. I definitely take it.
I'm not getting a big pump up from that. I'm just not trusting it. But that was Saturday. I spent the whole rest of that day like just lying on the sofa, which was much needed, to be honest, before the big Sunday run. The gun time was meant to be 8:45, but there was a late comer to the party. So we did start a couple of minutes late.
I don't know who that was.
But this run was a 2-hour, 15-minute run split up with a 30-minute warm-up straight into 3 sets of 15 minutes. I'm going to have to look at the paces now. It was 15 minutes sort of steady float, 15 minutes a little bit quicker than the cool down to the end. And we were privileged to have the luxury of pacemaker Dan for the first half of the session, but I think he did burn a few matches
I'd already burnt my matches before I started, I tell you.
Taking it for us. So he wasn't quite doing what he should do by the last bit of the session, but
I wasn't on Berlin Marathon 2024 form, I'll tell you that.
Definitely not.
We should have promised you a pair of Ons.
Yeah,
I know. If you'd got me a pair of New Balances or whatever you're running in these days, I would have got you to the finish line. But
maybe next year. Hey, maybe next year.
None of us said love the grind though. Maybe that's.
I was not loving the grind.
That's what I needed. I needed a few people on the sideline screaming at me, "Love the grind," and then I'd have been good.
You'd have been all good. That'd been the boost you needed.
Yeah.
But this started with half an hour at 7:13 per mile, then straight into 15 minutes at 6:17s, then straight into 15 minutes at 5:49s, then straight into 15 minutes at 6:16s, straight into 15 minutes at 5:50s, straight into 15 minutes at 6:19s, straight into 15 minutes at 5:46s, and then it was supposed to be 15-minute cool down, but I got to 14 minutes and 10 seconds and I decided I'd had enough. So I stopped there. And I'm actually really annoyed and quite upset because on my Garmin it's come out as 21.00 miles. On Strava it's come out at 20.99.
Strava tax.
Strava has taxed me for this run, which was quite upsetting.
How many gels did you do?
I did 6 gels, so what was that? 180 grams. Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I've not had a single problem taking gels at all in anything I've done. So hopefully, touch wood, that means when it comes to the marathon, I will be fine.
Yeah, and you're really liking the precision, right? And
Yeah,
30 grams.
30 grams. They just go. Well, to me, they taste like Calpol, which is like so good.
Not sure they're going to market them like that.
They are good to get down. The caffeine one I did try, and I wimped out after about like 2 kind of sips of that. I just couldn't handle it. But I feel like I need to try it again, maybe. But I can't bring myself to do that at the moment. I'm just surviving the sessions at the moment rather than trying to get.
Don't look for Owain for caffeine advice because he'll give you caffeine poisoning and you'll be
down.
throwing up 5 minutes into your race.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you found the Sunday, and I'm sure you'll go over it on your week. But yeah, I started off feeling horrendous, but by the time I got into the second half, I felt a lot better.
Yeah, because originally we were meant to go into the harder 15 minutes first, weren't we? And then I think we all decided to do the float first.
Because you always hammer the last float anyway, so you may as well just have the last rep as the one you're hammering. But I was pretty silent for the first half an hour, and I know, Dan, you turned around, you're like, "You're right, Jen," and I was like, "Yeah, just hanging on for now."
You were quiet the whole way through.
But I get really nervous for these sort of things. So I honestly have no idea how my body's gonna respond to it. Like, it could go like one of 2 ways. It's either going to be fine or it's going to be a disaster. And it's never going to be somewhere in the middle. But yeah,
you haven't had any disasters, have you?
No, but Dave keeps telling me there's going to be something that comes up soon that I'm not going to be able to finish, and I think that's coming from what you've said to him.
Oh, you just got to prove him wrong, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm either going to prove wrong or it's going to happen soon.
I think if you got through like the first 30 minutes of this and then you're like, this sucks, like, especially with the weather, then like, although Dave was off in the distance, like, we probably would have said to you, like, just do 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, just jog it. And then you, like, yeah, it'd be frustrating in the moment, but you'd take it as like, yeah, like, I'm probably pushing the limit. Yeah. Like, that's back off. Or like, that's me backing off and then take a couple of days. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, I guess it's difficult, but it's like, yeah, sometimes the session goes wrong, but it's probably not a good thing, but not a bad thing either. Like,
yeah, I think
it doesn't make that much difference.
Whole approach to this training block and to the marathon is like, I have no expectations of what it should feel like, and I don't know. And every week I'm a bit surprised at how hard it is compared to what I thought in my head it would feel like. But I also think that's probably, like, for me, easiest to then like adjust things or like accept something doesn't go the way I want it, because I've never done it before in my life. I'm sure the first time I trained for a 5K, it was exactly the same. Yeah. I had no knowledge or understanding in like to my internal metrics as to how that's going to feel.
Do you think you're going to do you think you're going to have any sort of down week between now and the race, or like slightly lower volume, just because like you did have a bit of a down week, but you also got married during it. So that's like physically maybe a down week, but stress-wise, like total stress, probably not a down week.
Not at all. So yeah, so that week I've just reviewed, that was 109 miles. And then this week now, we were going to try and edge it up a little bit, but I'm tired. So I'm going to try and aim for around the same, if not just a little bit less, over 100, but probably like 105. And then the week after that, it'll go down to about 80 miles. So that'll be like a proper down week. The sessions will be reduced in length, and then the overall mileage will drop. And then we'll do another kind of 3 weeks high, over 100, and then a 2-week taper. And hopefully that'll get me there, like, not completely chefed up. So that's the aim. But yeah, like I keep saying, like, I just don't know why I didn't expect to feel as tired as I do coming off. Like, I think I've averaged between 4,000 and 4,200 miles every year for the last 7 years. but I think like it's like the density or like the amount of volume that's like accumulating over like quite a short period of time that's probably like a bit more tiring.
Yeah, and I guess it just doesn't. I don't know, it's just constant, isn't it? And you know, feels like barely any time, and then you're on your session, and then barely any time, and then your long run again.
Yeah,
just always coming round, isn't it?
yeah, but you know, I signed up for the marathon, so I got to do it. And I think like that, you know, what people have told me is like it gets easier the more blocks of marathon training you do, because your body gets more used to it. You probably learn more like what is and isn't the limit, where that line is. Like at the moment, I feel like I'm teetering around it, but I'm not quite sure when I'm over it and when I'm just below it, because it's such a different sort of fatigue.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, well, I'm learning a lot every week, which is fun. But yeah, that was me, 109 miles. That was my highest ever mileage week, with 2 quality sessions.
Yeah, good week.
We'll take it.
Should we go on to you, Jen and Owain?
Yeah, let's do it. So where are my notes? Monday morning. So off the back of the same session as Jen. Easy 60 minutes, and I felt okay. Like we said last week, like it hits us differently. Like it hits me on Tuesday normally. I felt okay Monday morning. In the evening, I ran 40 minutes with Jen and Dave. I fell off my bike on the way home from work that day as well, so that was not a good day. Again, just lying on the ground on the Taft Trail, and I was just like, I'm not going to make it to this race.
What did you do? Like dodge a dog, or what was it?
There's some bumps, and I just hit a bump, and then my like feet just came off the pedals, and I almost saved it. I sort of went like 20 meters of like almost off the bike, and then almost back on, and then just fell off. And I was fine. Like I've cut my elbow in the same place I cut it when I fell off the treadmill. Like I was fine, and then actually I got to like Thursday, and then like both my shoulders hurt. So
it was
weird one.
When you said to us when you met us for the run, guys, I've got really bad news. Soar have sent 1 pair of socks, but there's 2 of you. And I was like, is that the bad news? Oh no, I fell off my bike.
Yeah, bit of a crazy evening. No. So all right day. Trying to make it to the marathon, I think. But so I felt good. Yeah, like we said last week, like we were talking about this, like it hit Dave in the morning, hit Jen in the afternoon, hits me on Tuesday morning, the like fatigue from Sunday. Which I think is quite interesting, like we said last week. But so Monday, just my normal sort of 2 runs. Tuesday, I think similar to you, Jen, like I was like, oh, like I'll do a little bit longer for my easy run now while I'm just doing this 1 session a week during the week. So I was like, oh, I'll try to do I've got time for 1 hour and 20 minutes. So let's sort of think about that. And then to be honest, like even sort of 40 minutes in, I was like, I'm really tired. Just really just not feeling it. And I don't know if this is maybe where just coming off of the schedule that I've been on most weeks for the past, like since June, of doing a Tuesday session, then it's just like slightly thrown me a bit, and I'm almost just like a bit bored. I'm just like, why am I doing another easy run? Like it should be a session.
Yeah, it feels a little bit alien.
Yeah, like, and you're just like not up for it. You're just like, oh, like more jogging.
Although I like past the Principality, and then you couldn't because the gate was shut.
Yeah, the gates were closed as well. Yeah, because I got there and I had a rough idea of where I wanted to go, and then I was like, oh, I'll go around the stadium. I'll do a loop of that because it's early in the morning. And then the gates were closed, and I was just like, oh, this is rubbish. Like I'm feeling rubbish. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know if like I'm going to end up running 1.5 hours because I'm going to go too far. So I don't know, just tired, and then like I was just like, even I should have just run 1 hour and 10 minutes rather than 1 hour and 15. Like that maybe would have made the difference.
It wouldn't have made a difference, so would it?
Probably not. And then I did not. So normally I would have doubled in the evening, but I didn't. I was pushing them back to run with Rachel later in the week, which also threw me a bit. But then I sort of took it as like, I don't think I would have wanted to double anyway. Like after that morning, I think I would have pushed it back anyway if I wasn't going to already. But yeah, so then Wednesday morning, session. Again, early start. I think I stepped out the door at 6:15, and jogged. I did 5 minutes of jogging, and then I did 3x4 miles. And the idea was with a 1K float. As it turned out, I was like, I'm just jogging this. Like, I'm not going to try float. I think I started the first float, and then like it was like 4:20 a K, and it felt really hard. And I was like, no, just focus on the reps. So really plodded the recovery after that. Also, I was listening to the Inside Running Brits, and literally Dan talking about 4x4 miles being the Dan Matt Clousey session.
It's the Matt Clousey session. I can't take credit from it. I stole it off him.
How can you listen to podcasts whilst you're doing the session? I just couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite like it.
I need the buzzing tunes going on in my ears.
I barely listen to music when I run. Like, yeah, because I just feel like the music changes my how I'm feeling. So, yeah, no, podcasts. It does need to be the right podcast. It's normally Inside Running. Inside Running for long runs and sessions is normally my go-to.
No, I'm with you, Jen. I don't think I could podcast for a session.
Yeah, it's got to be one of your, eclectic artists.
Exactly.
You like listening to.
No, I mean, I can't listen to music anymore because my Tesco own brand bone conducting headphones died on me after I ran over them in the rain. They just don't charge anymore. And then I had some just normal like earbud ones, which have also died after I ran in the rain with them. So I'm down to just to classic old school silence in my own thoughts on every session.
That's heartbreaking.
I thought you were going to say it's because we ripped you for your playlists as well.
Taking it really hard.
Yeah,
I don't mind taking slack for my questionable music choice. That's fine.
But yeah, it was very weird. You guys talking about 4x4 miles as I was doing it, and then I was like, oh no, I'm not floating. But yeah, so the first rep was completely in the dark. So I just went off heart rate for that one, and I'd set my Garmin to went over that like midpoint heart rate that we've talked about. So like where I'll probably average for the marathon. So midway between LT1 and LT2. And yeah, on the first one, I felt a bit tired, but it was fine. And it's just the classic, like it's in the dark. You have no idea how fast you're going. Didn't float, did the jog. And then rep 2, it was, I thought it might get light, but it was still in the dark. So rep 1 was 3:42 a K. Rep 2 was still in the dark. And I did the Safa turn, the hairpin up by Taliban. So I was like, oh, this is gonna show up in the pace. And then this was weird. So my watch like auto lapped at 4 miles, and the only thing it flashes up on the screen, it flashed up distance and lap time and total time. I don't think you can even change it, annoyingly, because I'd like to see average heart rate and pace. And it flashed up and it was like it definitely said 24 minutes and something. And the first rep had been 23 minutes. I'd seen that. So I was like, okay, so I've slowed down by like 15, 20 seconds minimum for this. I was like, and it's feeling hard already. So I was like, oh, I don't know if this session's not going great. Because it's 24 minutes. And then I looked back in the splits after, and it was literally within like half a second of the first rep. So I have no idea why my Garmin was saying 24 minutes. And I know it said 24 minutes because I looked and I was like, okay, this is like, it's a thought in my head about the session.
Was it 23 minutes, 24 seconds? No,
it was 23:52, the time that like Strava's showing, and Garmin Connect is showing for the split. So I don't know what, but I've said this before, I don't understand sometimes what data Garmin is giving you, like the Garmin in the session mode is giving you. I think it's just I
literally just lap it manually like 90% of the time.
I don't use any of the function Garmin.
Oh. I mean, to be honest, that's probably a good thing. Like, just use it for GPS. Because I don't know. Like, there's just these bugs, and I've said this before. I don't think anyone from Garmin actually uses their watches for sessions. or their features, because just odd things come up where I'm like, why no one that ever runs would want that. This one being one of them, like, why would it show a different time to the lap? But yeah, no. So anyway, so in my head in the session, I was like, oh, that felt a bit tougher, and I'm maybe going a bit backwards in terms of the pace. But I was like, just stick with the next one. Like, the sun at this point, it was getting lighter, and then I changed my screen to actually see the pace and heart rate. And then yeah, the third rep was average 3:39, and I could see it the whole way through, and I was like, oh, for this heart rate, that's actually really good. Like, I'm really happy with that. And felt pretty good by the end. I think some of it was, like I said the week before, like where the sun comes up and you just feel a bit better, like the RPE drops a bit. But yeah, it got faster on the last rep. Dropped a couple of seconds a K, and heart rate averaged the same. So yeah, it was still pretty tiring. Like, I got to the end of it and I was like, we ran 1:7. We went through half marathon in 1:17 the Sunday before, and then I think this with like the jog recoveries was like 1:19. So I was like, that's two like fairly steady halves within 3 days of each other. Yeah, and like the RPE was a bit higher than the Sunday for basically the same average pace, but like, I'm on my own and it's dark.
Early morning and
so it's like
stuff.
So different running with a group of like 9 people versus by yourself in
not doing any work at all.
Yeah. And it's probably like the accumulation of the Sunday and then onto that on the Wednesday, and then what the week before was like. Over time, it's like you get fitter, but you also get less fresh. So it kind of just blurs into one, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I sort of knew, like, I mean, maybe part of why I was like a bit like, oh, this session's not going great, is just because I even knew going into it, I was like, I've had 2 really good sessions. Like, you generally probably don't string 3 or 4 really good sessions together. Like, not that they'd be really bad, but they're just hard. And
it's like it's a B day. It's like you've ticked the box and you've done what you need to. It's like, just get out and escape now.
100%. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Just tick the box and then move on. So yeah, that was in my mind anyway. I was like, I don't believe people when they're like every session was perfect. Like, I don't think it can be. Just got through it. 140 grams of gels. That was tough as well. And it was like 4 different gels, like different flavors and textures, because I basically
you just go for like a roulette, whatever came out of your pocket. Or,
gel medley, I think. It was just, that was what I had left. So, and again, like, I could have done 100 grams, but I was like, just get as much in as possible. Like, it will help with the recovery.
So what does that work out as per hour? Quite a lot.
Yeah, I think I did it in my head. I think it was, no, I think it still was like 100 grams an hour, because I think total session was like
105.
100, yeah. So yeah, decent amount. And all but one were during the reps as well, because like normally I cheat and take them during the recoveries, but no, I mean, I felt pretty tired after this one, to be honest. In the evening, I haven't.
Question on the session.
Yeah, go.
Why did you switch to miles?
Just, it's a round number. I had it programmed into my watch because I didn't know how long I would have, like, in terms of, I didn't know when I'd wake up and when I'd be ready to go. So I had 3x4 miles, 3x6K, which is slightly shorter. I think that would have saved me 1,200 meters.
400 meters, yeah.
Yeah, and then 3x22 minutes, and I was like, each of these saves me about 4 minutes. So I was like, if I don't get out the door, it was like, if I get out the door X time, I can do 4 miles. It's 5 minutes later, it's 6K.
I can just see you the night before working this out in your head and programming it into your
Garmin. A little table for each possible option.
Right, so you went with a 3x4 miles, but then why did you go for a 1K jog?
That's the session, isn't it? Or is it a mile float for your session?
Mile float.
Okay, mile float. Well,
I know I do mix. I'm going to come to a session where I mix miles and Ks later in my week, so I can't give you too much stick. But like 3x4, like 4x4 miles off a mile steady to get to 20 miles total is the session. So you've just bastardized it and ripped it up, shortened it, and added in a K jog instead of a mile.
If it'd been a mile, then a mile jog would have been like 7 minutes. Whereas like this, even if I jogged it, it's still like 4 and a bit. And if I float it, then it's 4. So I was like, 4 is an adequate amount of recovery. Is my thinking. Also, like I was like, this might set some people off, and I don't really care about it, but I was like, this might. This might get some nibbles, and it looks like it has.
Yeah,
I got one better. I got a podcast nibble.
Yeah,
No.
It just screams at me, to be honest. And I've seen some of the sessions you give your athletes, which are great sessions. They're perfect good sessions, but it'd be like, go in like, oh, we're going to do 9 minutes and 6 minutes, and then obviously you've got to do 3 minutes for the next one, but he'll do 2 minutes. I'm like, why have you done that? Why have you
just
done
to
that?
get it to a round number.
Dan's twitching. He's reading it. He's like, oh, I can't cope.
I spend half my time on Training Peaks just making sure that it's pleasing mathematically. It doesn't even matter. It's just for my own tick, in my head.
You're going to be going in and editing the sessions.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be like, oh, that's different.
I go through the Training Peaks and change all your athlete sessions just so they're I'm not seeing a timeline, a Strava feed of just ugly looking sessions.
I never knew it annoyed you that much. I'm just going to make sure all my sessions from now on are like really just weird.
I can't. I know every combination you see of like of. So I do like those progressive sessions going from like longer to shorter, but there's got to be a flow to it. Like it's got to be multiples of like 3 or 4 minutes, or like that's basically it. To be honest, 5 minutes. You can do 5 minutes, like 10s and 5s. That's okay.
I'm going to start throwing in like 6.5 minute reps.
No,
it's like
7-minute reps. Like
rep.
There was one day I can't remember why I changed it, but I was going to do 3 by 13 minutes and 20 seconds because that would be like bang on 50 minutes. And when I was putting it in my Garmin, I was like, this is really going to not like some people are not going to like this.
Dan's face says it all.
The most compromise I've had to do is give people 7 by 5 minutes because I wanted them to hit about 35 minutes of work, and trying to get that middle ground between 30 and 40 is quite difficult. Making it nice numbers, it just doesn't divide that well. So I've given people 7 by 5 minutes. I can just about cope with that, but it's not a pretty session, is it?
I don't know. I quite like that.
Yeah, I've given people 7.5 minute reps, so they get 28 minutes of work.
Oh no! If you get coached by me, you're not getting any half-minute reps. 75. I do 75 seconds. I give people 75-second reps because they're like 400s.
Yeah.
But which people do question, like, why are you doing 75-second reps? But I like a 75-second rep. A minute just ain't quite long enough to really give you what you need. 90 seconds is too long.
75 is allowed though, but 7.5.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
And you can have 90-second reps. You can have 90-second reps, and you can have 30-second reps, but they're the only half-minute.
So once you go over 90 seconds, it's got to be a minute on the minute.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, before we get down too much of a hole and everyone realizes how weirdly my brain's wired, let's move on to your next day, shall we, Owain?
Well, I just added in on Wednesday, so I haven't mentioned these, but I'm still chatting to Scarlett, the psychologist, on most Wednesdays. She a recurring character on this podcast, Scarlett. She messaged me before Barry, and we just started working. Well, we started having a weekly call. Just to go through different elements of psychology. I just mentioned it. I meant to mention it the other week, but we did a cool session a few weeks ago that we've built on where we sort of work through these questions that she does. So she works for Brentford FC. This session, which I thought was really interesting, and I said to a few people about it. So it was these questions sort of follow on from each other, and you like write down your answers and then reflect on them. But it was so. What qualities in just an athlete in general do you sort of admire, or do you place a lot of value in? And I sort of then also said to her, like, I took it as like, if I was coaching someone, what sort of characteristics and traits would I like them to have? So it was things like consistency, like, and also sort of being like even keeled in terms of like not like in general, I don't think you want to be someone where like your day's ruined because your run went bad. I think you need that balance. And then like consistency, like you're going to show up every day, or like somebody coaching, you never have to worry like, yeah, they're going to get out and do the run. And then it was, what traits do you value in yourself? And then what traits would you like to have? And then pick an athlete that you admire, and like the traits and the characteristics about them that you admire. And then we sort of then write all of them down, and then sort of highlight 4 or 5 that then like really resonate with you, and then sort of work on them, and work on like things that you do that reflect them, and then things that you can do differently to reflect them. And I thought it was quite a nice, like, yeah, even just a thinking exercise. Like if you go and think about those, it's basically you're asking the same question, but with sort of 4 different lenses on it, which I quite like. And yeah, it was quite good. I mean, like, to be fair, she said like all of the people at football, like, just say Cristiano Ronaldo for their athlete, because he's good.
To, isn't it?
I think it's just because he's good, sort of thing. But no, I
been
really
like
enjoyed it.
Implicated with loads of drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but she's working with the junior team, so I don't think I think they just see the celebrations and the FIFA stats, and
right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was like, I really liked it. It was a good session, and we've built on that the last few weeks.
So what athlete did you pick as someone you admire?
You're gonna. So I got laughed at by my cycling friends for this, but I picked Ben Healy, who's a cyclist, just because I really like the way he races. So he's what in cycling what you call like a baradeur, which is like a sort of an aggressive, like goes in breakaways, tries to sort of win from like a long way out. Similar to like Julian Alaphilippe, like similar style. So
Jen's gone here.
Yeah, Jen.
She's actually Tour de France.
I'm placed over.
Dave's into it, isn't he?
Yeah, you're talking to the wrong person here.
But yeah, like I quite appreciate like the style, and it's like if he's gonna go for a race win, it's like all in, and if he's not, then it's like, whoa, I'm gonna do what I need to do to be ready to go for the next race win. And I think that obviously, like, I'm not running to win races, but it's like if I'm gonna do a race, like I commit to it, and if I'm not, then it's like it sort of almost ties into that performance planning that we've talked about. It's like, well, how does this help the goal? And if it doesn't, like, why am I doing it? Like, like I mean, like even today, like, well, I'm feeling quite tired and I'm racing this weekend. And originally I was going to like do a slightly longer cool down. And then I was like, that doesn't help me with this weekend. Like that actually makes this weekend potentially worse. So I'm not going to do it. And having that.
Sorry. Have you heard of the phrase, and there's a book, and I can't remember who it's written by, called "Does It Make the Boat Go Faster?" I think he was a rower. Couldn't tell you for sure, but it's all about that. It's literally like, why am I doing this?
That was Redgrave's quote, wasn't it? I don't know.
I'm not going to even guess.
It now.
Yeah. But that's literally the same thing. Yeah. It's like, does this compromise or does it enhance the end goal? Yeah. Like, why am I doing it? And there's always a purpose and a reason behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sort of like the approach. And I think that's something to admire. And then also like he's into like fashion and sort of artistic stuff away from cycling, which I think is just nice. It's nice, like having something away from what you do as well, or just having that perspective. Like, yeah, it's not the end of the world if the session goes bad. It's not the end of the world if I was 5 seconds a K slow on my run. Like, you're still doing the right thing. And I think, like, I don't know, I can speak for me. Like, we talk about the people we coach, right? Like, I don't have anyone I coach that messages me, like being like, oh, I was 5 seconds a K slower. Like, the world's falling apart. I don't think any of us would be able to deal with that if we did. Because just like, yeah, like you're still doing the right thing. It's just
your body doesn't know in the moment whether you like the physiology.
I think everyone has those doubts, though, don't they?
You have the doubts, but I think it's being able to manage them.
I've spent years trying to unpack that with various sports psychologists. Like, I finally got to the point now where I can deal with it. But there was a time where, like, if the session did not go if it was not faster than or at the pace set on a piece of paper, then that was a failed session. And because I had nothing else in my life going on at that point, I'd go home and I'd think about it all day, and it would be like the most consuming thing in the world. And it just made it so unenjoyable.
Yeah.
It's having that wider perspective, isn't it? And that realization that running is just one part of your life, whoever you are. and also just like one session is just one session, isn't it? It's that bigger picture. Just being well adjusted. But it's sports psychs are definitely underrated. I say I've never spoken to one. I've worked as part of a team with one, like supporting other athletes, and when you meet one who's good. But
we'll try to get Scarlett on at some point.
Yeah, I do think that if it's something that you can, because they're expensive, it's like it's an additional thing that's going to cost you money. But like if it's something you've got the disposable income for, it's something I would always recommend, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, like I've had so many like running peers who have disappeared from the sport growing up, who it wasn't their talent that let them down, it was their head. And like working with juniors as well, there's so many athletes who are way more talented than I will ever be, but they've not made it for reasons that aren't because it's not injuries, it's not their running, it's their psychology.
Yeah.
So for some people, it definitely makes an enormous difference.
Yeah, and it's cool working with Scarlett. Like she's really good. Yeah, we should definitely try.
You've been meeting for every week for 6 months, have you?
No, we miss it like where just because she calls, or we call like in the evening, and if she's busy or whatever, like we just do it the next week sort of thing. But yeah, no, we just talk through like she basically like she wants to work with people that aren't junior footballers, I think, because I think they're a similar vibe a lot of the time.
I can imagine. Yeah. I'm not going to be too rude, but
I do like say like I'm like, oh, it just must be so like different. Like I'm just like, yeah, I just want to run a good marathon in Valencia sort of thing. It's just like completely different to footballers. But no, like I thought that was a really good, and we've just been building on that the last few weeks, and I thought that was really good. I mean, the other thing we worked on, like when we weren't doing these Road to podcasts like over the summer, was just even like sometimes in races I'd get 10 minutes in, and like in my head I'd be like, oh, I thought it was going to go this way, but it isn't, for whatever reason, whether that's me or whether that's the race situation. And I'd just be like, well, just it's just a training run, like just go on to the next one. And we've reframed that as just like I try not to think about like the race situation until I know that I'm executing a good race, like for me. So like how the race goes doesn't matter unless I execute a good race to my own physiology. Because ultimately it's pointless me thinking about like, oh, like there's someone like I could win this race if then to try and do that I actually blow up and like have a rubbish race. And I think actually a really good illustration of that was the Ironman World Champs of the weekend, where like the two Lucy Charles Barkley and Taylor Knibb like basically raced themselves into like collapsing, like racing each other. And then in hindsight, it's like one of them probably would have just won the race if they had just gotten from the start line to the finish line as quickly as possible, and like just completely ignored everyone else, just gone from A to B as quickly as possible. But instead they raced each other, and they ended up both having heat stroke. And Taylor Knibb dropped out, I think, 3K from the finish. Jeez. So like you've got you've been racing for like, how long are they going for? Like 10 hours, 8 hours, yeah. And then you've got 3K from the win, but you've gotten caught up in racing someone, and you've like sabotaged the entire thing. Sorry.
That very much comes down to like process versus outcome goals. And I feel like if you're going into the race, like you said, like what's the best thing I can do and what's the process I can take to get that result, you're far more likely to come out with a positive experience than I'm in this race to win it, and then anything but a win is like a failure.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been my approach. Well, not always, but the last few years always been my approach for marathon is just execute your best you can on the day, and the outcome is what the outcome is. Like, you can't influence it at that point. Just do as best you can to pace it well. And I remember when we had Phil Sessman on like the first one of the athlete series, he was coming like the opposite way, going, well, for me, that's great, but I need to hit X, Y, and Z times to qualify for the Olympics, World Champs, whatever. So it's sort of like for him going into the Olympics, it was run sub 2:08:10 or bust. So I think it does depend upon what your goals are. Because for him, 209 or 208.15 would be a failure, even if it was the best he could do on the day. So why not go and shoot for it? Which I felt which challenged my viewpoint, which is like what you said. Yeah. But that is a very like small number of people in the population out of a percentage who'll be running Valencia in December. Most people just want to run the best they can, and I've always felt that if I've, regardless of the outcome, what in terms of time, if I've done everything I can on the day, paced it perfectly, then I do come away happy and satisfied with the result, even if it wasn't the time I necessarily wanted to get out of that day. Because you just know, well, I did all I could.
Yeah. And I think even just with training as well, coming back to like, you can't, especially with a marathon, right? You can't like outrun your physiology. Like, you will get the best result on the day that you standing on the start line are capable of if you like execute well. So execute well, and then you almost have nothing to worry about. Like, it is what it is. Like, and like, this weekend with Stroud, like, like there's a bit of a time goal in terms of moving up the pens at Valencia for me, but even then I don't care. Like, if I execute a good race and I run 1:15 and 2 seconds, then like, it will be really frustrating, but I'd be more concerned like what's my physiology saying about why I ran that time, rather than I should have done XYZ different, because I don't think that would change much. But yeah,
it's particularly hard though when it's close like that.
Yeah,
when I ran, my moment like that was when I was chasing the Commonwealth Games standard for 20. Where would it have been?
Birmingham,
2022. And it was the nomination standard was 2:15:30, and I ran 2:15:34, and like it was like a 3-minute PB, but at the same time I was so close, and I got it like almost perfect. On the finish line, I was like so mixed emotions. Like, I was nearly crying, but at the same time delighted. But retrospectively, it wouldn't have made any difference, because actually I needed to run like 2:14:30 to probably get in the team. But when you finish across that line, you're so emotional anyway. Just like you've just put everything out there for 2 hours and 15 minutes plus like 3 months of training. But but now I'm looking back at it, I'm really proud of our performance, because it was a massive breakthrough.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll do it.
I've got 2 weeks to get through, so let's
Thursday hour easy felt really good, because it's that normal post-session low heart rate, feeling good. Thursday evening the same again as well. That was good. Rachel snuck out of a conference early to come run, which was good. I'll get her in trouble. Friday morning hour easy again. The DOMs hit me. Not DOMs, but just generally fatigued. Felt pretty tired. Friday evening, similar vibes, and also just like running on a Friday evening sucks. And we run at we started 7:15. I was like, I know, because Rachel got stuck late at work. It got to about 6:30, and I was like, do I really want to go? Dragged myself out. And then Saturday morning, again, an hour easy, and I finished at Hardlines, best cafe in Cardiff, I think.
I love how many comments you got on this.
I know.
Rachel's first comment was the
best. For anyone, on my Strava, there's a picture of what I ate. Pumpkin pie. It was pretty good.
Rachel, he's a pumpkin spice latte kind of gal now.
Yeah.
I was just cracking up reading that.
That was nice run. I actually felt okay, but like, again, weird, like, third easy day in a row. You'd hope you'd feel okay. And then Sunday, so again, I was a bit nervous for this one. Maybe not as nervous as the week before, but like, again, it's a big session. I had sort of sent voice messages back and forth with Dan in the week about whether I'd do this one, because on one hand I was like, well, I want to freshen up for Stroud, but then I was like, I'm really liking these Sunday sessions, and the main goal is Valencia. So I decided to do it, but in my head I was like, well, I can, every 15 minutes I can decide if I want to stop, which was beneficial. But I don't think you really mentioned it, Jen, but the weather was pretty bad. Like,
yeah, I skipped over that bit, didn't I?
Yeah, like I don't want to say like I mean we're all like pulling out. We've all got meteor pace now, so we're like, oh, it's saying 6 seconds a k. Mine's saying 7 seconds a k. It wasn't great. Like to be honest, it was bearable. It was just soaking wet. Like
Yeah,
we were just soaked within about 5 minutes. But yeah, like Dan said, we're all in Soar gear, so all looked good. Handled the weather well.
yeah.
Few different approaches to the weather as well. I just went t-shirt and split shorts. I think you did
I'm
the same
amazed
with
you went
arm
split
warmers, Jen.
shorts because you love your half tights. So I'm
I
amazed you
know,
went
but
split shorts.
I've got these split shorts now, so I was like, I've got to try them.
Yeah.
And they worked really well. Carried all my gels. But yeah, no, the first 30 felt really easy, and like in hindsight, looking at the pace as well, I was like, okay, like I was doing okay at that point because, like, I know, like you guys are like, oh, it's 4:30 a k, but like it's a little bit faster than my easy run sort of thing. So it's like that felt fine. And then the first 15 felt okay to start with, and then I was sort of 10 minutes in, I was like, I'm not sure I can go any faster than this.
You were closing the gap for the first 5 minutes.
yeah.
Trying to get onto the front group.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the first 5 minutes, and then we got through past the school and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm not so sure now. But yeah, no. Then we picked it up, and I felt okay for that first 15, but like my heart rate it wasn't above LT2, it was like just below it, and I was like, oh, this might be a long day. Even with Pacer Dan on the front, it was struggling a little bit, but then did the next 15 float and felt a lot better after that. I think also because I really like hit the gels hard, and the next 15 on felt good. And then by that point I was like, well, I'm 2/3 of the way there, just hold on at this point. Yeah, the floats all felt fine. It was then the last on was like, I think we were sort of racing each other at the end, Jen. I think we were racing each other and we dropped Dan, which we're both like, this is never happening again.
Let's go.
You shoved the knife in, didn't you? You shoved the knife
in. This has mentioned 2 of us dropping Dan.
I was in a hole, which we'll get to, but yeah, I was in a hole.
But yeah, I think no, good overall. Like it did, I was glad it was done at the end. And then very slow plod home. I had 210 grams of carbs, so I think 1 more gel than you, Jen.
Yeah.
Again, I was like, I took a 90 gram, and then I was like, I'll just take 4 30s. All precision, so it's all okay. And yeah, I was just like, I probably didn't need the last one, but I was like, it might help recover for Stroud, so like let's have it, sort of thing. But yeah, so pretty good week. I think where last week was the week before was really good and like felt good. This one was like good, but sort of like, I don't know what the right word is, like grinding it out, I guess, or like just tough, and was like, I'm glad this week's a bit of a down week. Because I thought it would have been a bit less last week compared to the week before, but it was like 1.5k difference. So I did 149.2k. So probably second biggest week ever. But no, good week, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
good mileage. Yeah, good week. Nice.
So 2 weeks worth for you, Dan.
I know, I'm going to fly through.
6th of October.
6th of October. So this was the day after Cardiff Half, which feels like a month ago. Feels like forever ago. Doubled 40 minutes in the morning, 4:17 a k. 40 minutes in the afternoon, 4:16 a k. The day after a race, I don't know about you, Jen, I actually normally feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of that's what I was with the sessions as well. I always feel all right the next day, but then it's like the day after that.
Yeah, I think especially races, like I've just gone and run 21k at 3:02 a k pace, and then if I go out and run at 4:17, 4:20 a k pace, it feels like I am jogging. Like obviously I feel tired, but like it's like I'm primed and ready to go. My legs are thinking this is like so submaximal. So I actually felt pretty good. Tuesday, an hour in the morning, 4:15 a K, and 40 minutes in the afternoon, 4:21 a K. Now I'm starting to feel pretty tired.
At what point does it hit you?
It hit me definitely after Tuesday afternoon, feeling tired now.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen a run outside 4:20 a K in quite a while. So 4:21 a K was, getting a bit slow for me. And then Wednesday, so I was in Cardiff. I was meeting an athlete, so I got in a jog beforehand. Bumped into Jen. I was desperate for company on this run. I thought, you know what, if I time this right, I might just catch somebody, probably you, Jen, on this run. If I go on the Taft Trail, if I lurk around the Taft Trail at about just gone 9 o'clock, I'm gonna see Jen. So I managed to do 10 minutes with you or something like that.
Laugh at the park.
Laugh at Butte Park. And yeah, my legs are feeling really bad by this point. Hence desperate for company. So did an hour, 4:19 a K. And then doubled in the afternoon. So just the theme of this week is basically jogging till Friday. 45 minutes in the afternoon, 4:17 a K. And then Thursday, I've said, targeted it first run since Cardiff where the legs have actually felt decent. So it took me quite a lot of jogging to get to a good point. What did I do? 76 minutes, 4:13 a K, but with a bit of climbing in there. So Meteo pace had me at 4:06 a K, adjusted if we're going to use that sort of if we're allowed to use those calculations in this report here. But yeah, felt pretty good, and did my plyos and hills afterwards. So did 4 times 12-second hills. Didn't run that afternoon because I had a big session planned. Thursday afternoons to take Night to swimming, so it's always just a battle to get it in. I'm like, right, I'm really fit. I've just gone for a great Cardiff half. Weren't double, save it for the next day. Proceeded to have like the worst night's sleep with Nye. I think we had I knew I had to get up pretty early for this run because I had to get back. I had to get back for some reason. I think it was I had to get back for picking Nye up from his nursery because Jemima was at a conference. That's what it was. Jemima was at a conference on Friday. I had to get back to pick Nye up. So I had to get up early for me. So got up at 6, having been awake for about, I had about 4.5 hours sleep that night, I think. Wasn't feeling great. And it'd been a pretty similar night the night before. I don't know what's happened to his sleep. He's 3 years old and it's just getting worse, if anything. But anyway, the beauties of being a parent. So yeah, get up at 6, feeling pretty awful. Drive to the famous Rose Inn Loop, which is basically a 2-mile circuit on farmers' fields, but it's on the Newport Flats. It is perfectly flat, and it made me think of your ex-boyfriend, Jen. Sorry to bring it up, but I think now you're married, you can really cope with it. But me and Josh Lunn have run many laps around here.
With the ironing board out and the drinks bottles on it.
Yeah, that's it. So, and normally, so it's a perfect loop. It's completely flat, 2 miles. Like you never see any traffic on there. Sometimes some cows getting ferried across from one field to another, but it's normally windy. But it was perfect. I think
that is so rare.
Meteo pace had disappeared. I think. What did it say? It was like
just 1 second difference.
Yeah, 1 second difference. 4 km/h winds, 11 degrees, and I don't know how today is going to go.
I can't use weather as an excuse.
I can't use weather as an excuse. So I had a mini panic attack because I got up in the morning. I'm like, I can really feel like quite a sharp pain in the bottom of my heel, and I'm like, I did drills and hills for the first time, drills, plyos, and hills for the first time in a while. The day before, I've just done Cardiff half. I know that it feels more lower down than the Achilles, so it'd be like the insertion where it goes into the heel. And I know enough people to know that's not a good place to have pain. Like you're much better off having like a mid portion like tendinopathy rather than an insertion, because where the tendon attaches to the bone, that takes forever to heal if you've got an issue there. So in my head, I'm driving down thinking, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to warm up for this session. I'm walking around my house barefoot and it's really hurting. And I'm going, fuck. How is this going to go? Jog, absolutely. A couple of minutes, a bit sore, absolutely fine by the time I finish my jog. So I go, right, I'll start this session. Plan was 10 by 2K off a K steady, which is exactly what I did. And probably certainly the best long run session I've ever done. Just felt, legs still felt a little bit heavy from the half, but like just felt in control, like cardiovascularly fantastic. Because it's such, I averaged for the whole like 30K, there was 8 meters elevation gain. So you can just lock it, and with 4K an hour wins, you can just lock into a rhythm. So I was going like, I averaged 308, 307 a K for the 2K efforts, and then the 1Ks were all between 325 and 330 a K average. So the whole 30K came out as 315 a K, average heart rate 160, and my marathon heart rate is normally about 165, 166. Just like so much better than anything we've ever done before, and healed completely fine. Turns out afterwards, looked at my feet, just got a cracked heel. It's nothing wrong at all. I've just got really bad feet, but I've not looked after. I've got a massive crack on my back.
Basically,
I know. I just need to moisturize. My Achilles is absolutely fine. So that was reassuring, but I did feel like a bit of a moron. I felt like, I thought that was it. This is going to be the do or die session. I'm either going to get through this and it's going to go fine, or I'm not making the start line of Valencia. I just had a cracked heel. So there you go. But yeah, this one gave me a lot of confidence. 200 milligrams of caffeine beforehand, which is something I wouldn't normally take before sessions, but I'm sort of trialing that before Valencia. I did before Cardiff Half. The gels, so switched to the SAS beta fueled gels after moaning about Morton for the last month, I think, and no issue at all. Took a gel every 6K, which I think worked out as like over 100 grams an hour of carbs, no issues. I did take it on my steadies because I'm not a moron. I was going to give myself every opportunity to get it down. But yeah, that was great. Wore the Asics Metaspeed Edge Tokyo's, a shoe which, yeah, I really rate them. I'd happily run a marathon in them. I don't know what I'm going to run a marathon in yet, but they're definitely up there. I like the Pumas though. I thought Cardiff Half was going to, so I ran Cardiff Half in the Pumas, and I thought that was going to be the deciding factor. And it still hasn't decided it for me. They were fine for a half, but
I don't know if they
marathon, I don't
know for a marathon about with those. Yeah.
But anyway, this session, super happy about, the best I've ever done. In terms of that long run, I was like, yeah, definitely ready to. I feel like on that day, I reckon, I think with that fitness and a bit fresher, I was ready to marathon PB. So the only downside is that could be even better conditions than of having Valencia. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, give me a lot of confidence, and was super happy with that. Where have we got to now? So that was Friday. Saturday, then we were traveling out to Mallorca. We had another really bad night of Nye. So my plan was to run just 10K the day, but the morning of, get up early and do it. But I think I just thought, what is the point in running 10K to lose an hour of sleep? I'll just skip that and move on to Sunday, which is annoying, but not going to make a difference. Turns out I ended up sprinting through the airport because we were all taking hand luggage, 6 bags. I was guarding the bags. Jemima and I went off to Boots to buy some stuff. I can't remember what, but Jemima WhatsApps me, I need a boarding pass. I need a boarding pass to pay. Turns out she didn't actually need a boarding pass. You don't need that anymore. We've moved on from whatever I used to happen like 5 years ago. But anyway, I've picked up all the bags, lugged them over to find out she doesn't need the boarding passes because I had them all on my phone. We then go, right, they're calling our gate. We'll head down to the gate, get to the gate, just about to go through. We had 6 bags before, we now had 5 bags. So I realised I've left 1 bag back at the cafe we've been sat at. I'm sprinting down from the gate because they're literally about to board the plane, back to the cafe we're at, grab the bag, still there fantastically, next to like an old Welsh couple saying, oh, we wondered if you were going to come back for that. So got the bag. It had all nice entertainment in it for the whole holiday. So if we'd left that, it would have been screwed. Sprinted back to the security, back to the boarding gate, got on the plane, absolutely fine. But yeah, I basically did a K flat out. I reckon it was about 2:30 a K down the.
It's got to be a world record for a airport K, hasn't it?
That was my run for the day. Proceeded then to sit on the plane for 2 hours because we couldn't take off because of storms, which was great fun with a 3-year-old. But eventually did get into Mallorca. By this time it was quite late, so I wasn't running. I was like, right that off. Next day, did a long run, got a bit excited, nice weather, new place. I've been to Mallorca before, but not for like 5 or 6 years, and just know it's good for running. Did 32k, 3:46 a K pace, but then because it was pretty warm, Meteor Pace has got it at 3:33 a K, and it was windy too, so it's given me a red warning of heat and an amber warning of wind, but actually felt really, really good. I was really happy with that. I'm putting that down to the currents that I've been taking, because I've just been recovering really well from these big sessions, and I've not changed anything other than that. So that was week 1, which, considering it was off the back of Cardiff half, it was always going to be a little bit of a down week in terms of mileage. So I ran 155k. Considering I missed like that 110k jog, it would have been 165. Had probably one of the best sessions of my life in there. So I was pretty happy with that. Looking forward to a week in Spain, with some on my warm weather training camp. And from there, it all went downhill. So I think Nye picked up something on the way over on the flight, because he was good Monday. Tuesday, he was getting a cough. And by Wednesday, he was pretty miserable, and I was starting to feel a bit sorry for myself as well. So where have we got to? Monday the 13th.
One by 9 minutes, 1 by 3 minutes.
Yeah, big session.
Yes. So So my thought process, I realized after having done that long run that really I should have taken that super chilled, because we were flying home on a Friday, and there's basically no way I was going to get a session done that day. So it'd be really ideal to try and go Monday, Thursday for my sessions, which is stupid. I know it was stupid, because I'd always go, right, try and push it back a day. Don't bring it forward a day. But we were supposed to be going away we were supposed to be going to Swansea on the Saturday for my niece's birthday. And so that was going to be tricky to get a session in. So I thought, you know what, I'll get away with it. Today, this day, the 1 in a million times, I'm going to get away with it. So warmed up the idea of doing I think I was going to do something like 2 times 9 minutes, a few times 9 minutes, a few times 6 minutes, a few times 3-minute reps to get up to like an hour's worth of volume. Anyway, did 1 times 9 minutes, felt pretty rubbish, averaged 3:15 a K, 3:14 a K, and thought, well, it's the first one, it's quite early in the morning, I'll give it another go. Did 3.5 minutes, still at 3:14 a K, and thought, no, it's not happening today. So just jogs for 75 minutes, averaging 4:06 a K. Did some strides afterwards. Let's see what I was averaging then, Jen, shall we? Slower than you, I expect. Well, apparently I hit, well, it said the last one, it's going 2:15 a K. So
that's what I mean.
I'm definitely trusting that GPS.
Reliable.
So that was Monday. So then I've got, right, okay, I'll try again on Tuesday.
Classic.
This is a classic mistake, isn't it? This is where it all unravels. and actually felt woke up, set an alarm to get up early and get it done, and went back to sleep again. Felt really bad. By the afternoon, I felt a little bit better. So I jogged for 30 minutes. But it was annoying. Like, it was nothing specific. Like, no, like, I wasn't coughing. I wasn't having like temperatures or fevers. I just felt knackered and just generally bad. Which is something that Jemima is quite she says I'm like this all the time, like non-specific man flu, you know. You can't go, yeah, you've got this or that. But the fact that Nye was ill, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not quite right here. So 30 minutes that day. Next day, I did 18k an hour 17, 4:17 a k pace, and got out in the afternoon. Probably pushing the pace too hard again. I've lost my routine. I'm completely thrown by that. I've been doing Tuesday, Friday sessions and a long run on Sunday for pretty much a whole year, and I've lost that, and I'm now completely losing the ability to make any decision. So I've run 3:57 a k for this. And Meteor Pace is giving me 3:44 a k because again it's hot and windy. But I'm thinking, right, catch up now, bank a good day. So that was a good day. The next day I did 54 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't even know what I was thinking about here. I tried a few reps because now I've completely lost my plot, and I've done 3 by a minute in 3:03, 3:02 a k pace, and decided like, no, my body's still not ready for a session. This was also a run combined with hunting for cow pole for Nye, which Spain doesn't do cow pole. It does something which is kids' paracetamol, but it tastes like garbage, and he would not eat it. He would not drink. He would not take it in. So that was really annoying because he's really struggling by this point. We're still getting out of the beach most days, but he's just generally grumpy and not sleeping at all. Which means I'm not sleeping at all, which means I feel a little bit unwell and very sleep deprived. The 17th then, 45 minutes, 4:11 a k. And now we travel home that day, safely home. Did 45 minutes in the afternoon back on my canal loop.
Was it nice to be back in your familiar environment by that point?
I love being away. I'm not moaning about the holiday. I felt very lucky to be away. And if I was going to be ill anywhere, I'd prefer to be ill in Mallorca than I would be at home. But it was getting me a bit pissed off, to be honest. I was pretty accepting of right. I know I'm really fit. I'm not that worried about missing the training. I'm not going to lose very much, but it was more of a fact that it's where people go to do training camps. Like, there's so many cyclists out there. It was really nice conditions for running, and I just couldn't do much running because I felt shit. And there were like there's a great like front for doing intervals, which I couldn't do any intervals on, and I was just getting a bit wound up. And I was probably having like 5 or 6 hours a night of sleep, despite Jemima like taking the brunt of it, because I think we had COVID. I think me and Nye had COVID because Jemima is basically immune to COVID now because she works on a respiratory ward during the pandemic and has had like 10 vaccines or whatever. Whereas me and Nye were struggling a bit. Nye was worse than me, but he's had no vaccines at all. And I've obviously had a few, but yeah. I'm not moaning about it being Mallorca. It was lovely, but it put a bit of a downer on it. And it was nice to be back on my canal.
Anyway, I always like that when I get home. I'm like, oh yes, familiar surround.
But that Friday afternoon, I thought, you know what, I feel pretty good. Mm-hmm. 45 minutes, 4:11 a k, session tomorrow, back into a routine. So Saturday then, I'm like, right, Jemima's given me permission to miss my niece's birthday. It's she's not a blood relative. She's 1 year old. She won't remember I'm not there. Jemima's being sorry for me. Look, I look pretty. I think I've just looked pretty knackered. So she says, "I'll take Nye to Swansea. You stay in Cardiff for the weekend." So I'm like, "Great. Let's catch up on that training then." So warm up Saturday for a session. Feel pretty good. do 5 by a mile, 8 by a K, 10 400s, which is the biggest session I've done in a while. Because I have been doing a lot of those double thresholds with Jake, or double session days where it's more broken up. For the miles, I felt pretty good. The Ks were starting to bite a little bit, and the 400s, I was having to pep talk my way through. And I thought it was just a bit of tiredness, but retrospectively, I think I was still a little bit ill because the splits were good and my heart rates were good, and it was a really windy day. What did I run? I went 505, 503, 502, 458, 501 for the miles. The Ks I went through, the wind definitely picked up. That's what I'm going to say anyway, because they were 301, 306, 303, 305, 302, 305, 303, 305. And then the 400s were all between 70 and 69 and 71 seconds, but more in the 71s than the 69s. And that was starting to feel really, really tough. But in my head, I was going, if I get through this, it's not going to make any difference to the fatigue levels, but I am going to feel psychologically like I've ticked a box and I've got the session done. So pushed through and then proceeded to lie on the sofa all day. I had all these jobs I was going to do. I was thinking, right, I've got the weekend to myself. I'm going to get the house organized. I've got so many DIY projects I'm going to do. And I sat on the sofa for 5 hours and then did a double, ran 45 minutes on the treadmill. Heart rate is sky high, which will probably be a red flag that I just completely ignored. But I thought it was just because I'd done a session a few days, a few hours earlier. So I averaged like 125 heart rate for 418 a K pace, which for me is sky high. I then made the stupid mistake of joining you guys for a session, which there were two reasons for joining you guys. One was I wanted to get my Soar kit, so I'm going into Cardiff to see Owain to get my jacket, because I've been waiting for this jacket for a while. It was also I could see it was going to be awful weather, and I was like, right, I need to run with somebody. I don't want to go and I've got the opportunity. I don't always have the opportunity to join people on a Sunday. I've got the opportunity. I heard what you were doing and I thought, that'll be fine. It won't be too bad. And I think normally it would be all right. But the fact that because I have joined you guys for like your long run sessions before, but normally I've sessioned on a Friday. Yeah. And I think normally I'm well. And from we did the 30 minutes at like what do we average, Owain?
4:30.
4:30 a K, something like that. I was like, yep, I'd quite happily do this for 2 hours. That would be nice. And the first 15 minutes at 3:55 a K pace, I was already having my doubts. And like you, Owain, was saying, like, driving in, I was thinking, I can always just stop. I can always just stop and just do my own thing. But once I made that decision, I was going to join you. And the pacemaker Dan stuff had already started. So I was like, right, well, I've got to do my bit now, haven't I? I've got to do my bit. And
I mean,
anyway,
Jen sensed weakness on Saturday. Like, she did it to me the week before. And then, yeah, there was already chat going on Saturday.
I give all the tips Saturday afternoon.
I was struggling from the get-go. The only thing that was keeping me going was wearing my new Soar jacket, which was fantastic, by the way. All-weather jacket. Super nice.
It looks really good.
It looks really nice, but also because often they're so plasticky, aren't they? That they just feel awful to run in. As soon as they get wet, they just stick to you. Whereas this isn't. It's like some sort of composite material that you could actually wear just a t-shirt under, and it wouldn't feel horrible on your hands, not on your arms. A short sleeve t-shirt, and because it's not like plastic, I always find that irritates my heart rate strap as well, in terms of like the static, like throws the readings all out. I didn't have that issue at all, despite it being the worst weather I've run in for ages. Mallorca felt like a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, felt like I was in a bit of a hole from the first 15-minute effort. I think I remember looking down like 5 minutes into the first 15-minute effort thinking we must have done like 12 or 13 minutes by now, and it was 5 minutes in. I just knew it was going to be a long day. I'd been holding in a wee for about an hour, and finally just said to you guys, I need to stop. You guys go on. It's a steady. It'll be fine. I'll catch you back up. It'll be fine. You're only going 3:55 a K pace or something. And I've had to, I had to work so hard to get back to you guys. I then had like 3 or 4 minutes of steady with you before starting the last 15 minutes. Matt just did me in. I just did me in. I could just see the gap opening up, and I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm just gonna let it grow. I don't think you actually. I think you might have put like 2 meters on me, so you didn't completely drop me. But if it was any faster, I'd have been out the back door. And I was hands on knees at the end, and my heart rate was fine. I was just in a hole. I averaged 132 beats per minute for 359 a k for 34k, which is fine. And I didn't go above LT1 heart rate, but I was just a mixture of still ill, tired from the day before, and just atrocious weather. It's a deadly combo.
How many gels did you have, Dan?
I had 0 gels as well. I had them in my car. I brought them with me and thought, you know what? I'll be fine. I don't need them. It'll be all good. So I had my Soar shorts ready to put them in. I had everything ready to go, just didn't take them, which wouldn't have helped either. These guys are laughing at me.
Bring them with you next time.
So I made in the so I think I had 7 days of making good decisions, 7 days of making bad decisions. Was basically how I summarize my 2 weeks of training.
I was going to say, if you take your weekend and if one of the people you coached did that, what would you say?
It's hard, isn't it, though, isn't it? When you're in the moment, I think if I hadn't been ill, I'd have got away with it. And the problem is, I thought I was fine, but having now suffered Monday, Tuesday after that long run, I know that I wasn't fine. But yeah, because I still ended up running 100 miles on my week where I was ill.
Bars on Strava looking good, didn't you? It was
that was in my head as well.
Big Saturday and Sunday.
But questionable decisions. I'm smart. I was just inspired by my idol Jake Barraclough, thinking, right, just train harder, not smarter. Obviously, he would have done like 300k in a week, not 160k. But yeah, no, I will put my hands up and say that I made quite a few stupid decisions that week, but I need to move on from that, and I'm trying to be smart. I am being smarter now. Spoiler for next week, I jogged 10k on Monday and felt pretty rubbish, and today I've not run at all. Tuesday, date of recording, and hoping that Wednesday, Thursday I can get back into things. But I'm not going to run a session until I've had like 2 days of feeling good, running easy. That's I think what I need to do.
Cool.
And just take the confidence that I can't lose too much fitness, because I've run pretty much a half marathon PB, had the best session of my life 5 days later, still run 100, like basically 100-mile weeks back to back, and done some intensity in there. So having a few days of just recuperating now, rather than just digging myself into a massive hole and then getting back to it and doing 5 weeks of good training, taper, Valencia, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Especially because I look back to my going into Valencia last year, I had so many like bugs and viruses, and this is the first one I've had, so I've done pretty well. But yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed by my week, to be honest.
Still good training. Like you said, your fitness hasn't gone backwards.
No, I was having exactly the same conversation with an athlete today who's going through sort of a similar thing to me. He actually managed it better than me, which is I'm going to take as I've imparted the wisdom onto him, but I've just not applied to myself. Yeah, it's fine. It's just taking that step back, isn't it? Like we were saying earlier, and appreciating that you can't fight viruses, physiology, whatever. You just got to accept it and make the best decisions you can.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll look back in like 3 weeks' time and you'll have forgotten about last week, and
exactly.
You'll be fine, and it'll be just a blip in the ocean.
Exactly. And I've literally not missed a session. Every session has been like B+ for months now. So one week of it not going quite to plan is not gonna make any difference at all.
Absolutely not. No.
But yeah, this is turning a bit into an epic, so we should probably shut up, shouldn't we?
So right, another 2-week recap. So
yeah,
can go a bit longer.
Big one.
Yeah. We'll be back to normal next week.
Yep. Hopefully, don't jinx it now.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Cool. Should we leave it there?
I reckon so.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, we'll keep on chugging away. 6 weeks to go now.
Yeah.
6 wow. It's 6 weeks and like 5 days to go.
Oh, 10 weeks.
10 weeks to go.
47 days, actually.
Right. Good to chat to you all.
Yeah. Catch you guys later.
You guys.